As you may know, Tower Defense Simulator was included in part of the Hunt Mega Edition. Now, as a Tower Defense Simulator YouTuber, I feel like it is my justification that I can cover the clues which led to Tower Defense Simulator's Mega Token being revealed. Now, it's very likely that not all of these quests were properly adhered to or properly solved, so I'm just going to go over them now here. So as you may know, Tower Defense Simulator was part of the fourth and last set of games that were released as part of the Shape Zone, as seen here. So if you go down a hole, fall from the main hub event to the hole, and then walk to here in this corner of the room, you'll see this symbol here. You got a sun minus a star plus a law symbol, war scales, I think, law scales, plus muscle minus hearts plus wizard equals something. Now, the symbols in themselves, they could represent things in Tower Defense Simulator. For example, the sun, we have the Umbria, for example, taking advantage of the sun, basically. The star, I actually don't know what that could be for, if it was related to a tower in Tower Defense Simulator, or even an enemy in Tower Defense Simulator. Maybe there is a star enemy in Tower Defense Simulator. Could be the star cannon. So this is the Umbria, and in the solar eclipse event, this was actually a star cannon was used to defeat the Umbria. So that could be there. The law scale, I don't know. I don't know any lawyers in Tower Defense Simulator. Maybe it could represent justice. I don't know. Muscle, that's often associated with the minigunner. The hearts, that's associated with the medic. And then the wizard, it's its own symbol. However, these are just generalized symbols which could represent Tower Defense Simulator. That's the easy method of getting the Tower Defense Simulator from this clue. However, what you could do is actually, these represent tarot cards. So if you were to get the numbers from the tarot cards, so for example, the sun here, the star here, even though the sun is a star, so doing the maths here, that will be 18 minus 16, so that's 2. And then you got judgment, justice, so that's actually 11. So this in total adds up to 16. And guess what the 16th tarot card is? The Tower. Yeah, the Tower Defense Simulator. I mean, obviously, it could be related to any Tower Defense game, but given that I think Tower Defense Simulator was the last game here, obvious reference to Tower Defense Simulator. You are using towers, troops, obviously, in Tower Defense Simulator. I know there's like another Tower Defense game, SpongeBob Tower Defense. Technically, the tower could refer to this, but in Tower Defense Simulator, troops are referred to towers, so it's an obvious reference to Tower Defense Simulator. Now, within Tower Defense Simulator, there were 2 clues which led to the code that you need to input into the supercomputer. Now, I don't know how you were meant to figure out that you were meant to put a code into the supercomputer. I guess you were just meant to roam around the lobby until you actually found something to interact with, and it just so happened that the supercomputer was the thing that the developers decided to interact with. However, these clues have been removed in a shadow update, so I can't really talk about them here. Well, I can't visually show them here. I'll have to use, I believe, Creekcraft. Shout out him, he actually does have the footage of it, and Tyler has the footage of the first clue, which was meant to be a Redcliffe shield here. This was meant to be the first part of the code, which revealed the fact that you need to type in Redcliffe into the supercomputer. Now, I've had some people say that the commander actually leaked this fact. It was pointing towards the shield. Actually, no, the commander points all the way over there, on the other side of the events gate, whereas the shield was actually here, which is nowhere near where the... Well, it's not nowhere near, but it's not near where the commander's pointing at. Therefore, that actually isn't a clue. The other clue is the fact that there were fools in code which were written around all around the lobby. I believe the S was the last one to be found, so initially people were trying Redcliffe Fallen before they actually got the code. So here, this is what Tyler said to me. This is the Redcliffe shield, which was found where I initially showed it. And then Menting found the other footages of codes, which were found in Creekcraft's stream. So here, you can see F on the left of the first elevator, next to here, as you can see here, Creekcraft found it. And you got L next to the lemonade stand, and then L, another L underneath the supercomputer in the crate area. Then you got A near the gate into the main lobby area, in the event area. And then S was found next to the event matchmaking portal. It's not the S that's found on the portal itself. That is something completely different. But from those clues, that's how you got Redcliffe Falls from the codes that were hidden around the Tower Defense Simulator area. Now, as Tyler mentions here, Tyler's a developer of Tower Defense Simulator, by the way, the other clues initially weren't red herrings. Originally, no, but data miners found the clues early, and therefore the clues had to be changed. But the original clues had to be kept in just to show, I don't know, they were red herrings, basically. Now, these clues were the verse or survives in the event matchmaking portal. This spells out the word survives. On the front, it spells out viruses, but then if you go to the back, there's another V, which allows you to spell survives. There was a second clue in the commander hat, and the commander having a Redcliffe logo, an upside-down Redcliffe logo, on top of its hat. Now, these were meant to be clue for a scrapped mega hunt for Tower Defense Simulator. but they were left in as red herring. The commander pointing anywhere, by the way, that's just the position that you always used to have. It doesn't point anywhere in specific. It doesn't even point to the matchmaking computer. It points towards the minigunner, and the minigunner like kind of points towards the crates, but that's not a clue. I mean, I guess this is maybe this is how you find the supercomputer, but it looks like this was a red herring, as Tyler suggested. Now, since the event has ended, the commander cap on top of it has been revealed to look back to the Paradoxum Games logo as it was previously, and the Redcliffe logo has now been removed from this as well. Also, the event area has been locked off, so you can't access the Roblox portal anymore. However, it's been suggested by some people that the Redcliffe logo on the cap of the commander plus the survives in the portal was meant to somehow indicate Redcliffe falls into the supercomputer, which isn't the case. It's actually the shield and the code that was provided around the map. This is why initially people were guessing like Fallen, they were guessing some other stuff, because they couldn't find the complete code until they found the S inside the event area of the lobby. So I can categorically say that any clues relating to the commander and the survives on the logo on the event matchmaking portal, they're all red herrings. They weren't involved in this event whatsoever. Furthermore, you can't interact with the supercomputer after you use it. This was already here. This was actually in the game for a while since the Hexscape event was added. It's just that it was used in this event for the core blocks hunt. Now, additionally, if you invited someone to your party and they hadn't completed all the mega tokens in other games, it would throw up a message saying that that player had not completed the riddle to play the Mega Edition or the Mega Difficulty in the Core Blocks Hunt. However, I wouldn't really consider this a riddle, more like a code that you had to input in. The riddle, I suspect, is part of a cancelled Mega Hunt, which involves the Commander Redcliffe logo on top of that, over there, and then the Survives code on the matchmaking portal. Because you're not solving a riddle, having falls around the map and having a Redcliffe shield isn't solving a riddle. It's just merely finding clues to input a code. So if it was an accurate error message, it would say, Mentin12, which is the person I did this with, has not yet found the code or something. They have not yet solved the riddle. Now, despite the two clues for the Redcliffe shield and the Falls code around the map, it seems like the shield wasn't actually not found by many players, really. And it seems like most people password guessed the Redcliffe stuff, and the Falls parts they just found around the map. So the Falls part was the most obvious one, and then the Redcliffe shield that was found here was the one that people just didn't find. But the clues were there if you search really hard for it. And finally, yes, the Core Blocks code badge, that's also a red herring. People have said that this is how you got one of the clues for the Core Blocks code, which is the code that you put into the computer. No, that's not the case. We're just meant to find the clues to input the code into the supercomputer yourself, as Creekcraft did. But yes, that is Tower Defense Simulator's Mega Hunt. It was kind of more than I expected. I thought it was just a Redcliffe shield or whatever, and people just guessed the clues for the Redcliffe Falls into the supercomputer. But no, there were actually some clues to relate to Tower Defense Simulator.